Yes guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's daily video, I'm going to be going over how to stay lean once you get there. All of my videos are about, getting lean, building the complete physique, having muscle, keeping it, maintaining it, and all that stuff. But a lot of people, especially what I'm seeing in the comments, a lot of people will, have a successful fat loss phase and then they'll blow up, or they'll do a bulk, build some muscle, diet down, lose a lot of that muscle, and they kind of end up in this like vicious cycle in the same place over and over again. So I'm hopefully going to break it down for you guys and make it as straightforward as possible. Now, once you get lean, remember, in any fat loss phase, guys, unless you are a competitive bodybuilder, their goal is to get as lean as possible, then transition out and get as big as possible, then come down and get as lean as possible, looking better than they had before, and they kind of repeat that cycle when they're competing. If you're like me or 99% of us who just wants to look good all the time, want to be able to just jump in the pool, look great, go over there, look great, take my top off, look great. Talking to a girl, take my top off, feel good. Simple, okay? I cannot afford to be fat 6 months of the year just so I can build 2 more pounds of muscle so I can have slightly bigger shoulders on stage. Don't care. No one cares. So the goal is to get lean and stay lean. So I'm not going to make this video on how to get lean. I've got loads of videos on that. I'm going to assume you're already lean. So you've already gone through a dieting phase. You've already gone through a deficit. What a terrible time to start sawing wood. It's the thing with barley. Like, I've got someone sawing wood there, there's a chicken over there, and there's children screaming there. So I know you can all hear it. Please don't comment saying, I can hear someone sawing wood. I know, I can't help it. Anyway, I'm going to assume you are lean. So you've taken yourself through a deficit, probably for a few months. You've probably been doing a lot of cardio. You've probably been doing more steps than usual. You've been not eating very much food. You're probably quite hungry. Now, this is what separates the boys from the men. Yeah, the weekend warriors, the people that actually look good all the time, is what you do after this fat loss phase. Yeah, this reverse dieting phase, maintaining phase, building calories up phase, whatever you want to call it, is crucial. Okay, that is too loud. So what do we know at the end of a fat loss phase? You're probably quite hungry. You're probably a little bit over the diet. You probably can't wait to eat. You probably feel really skinny and feel like you've lost all your muscle because you're flat from low carbohydrates and all of that good stuff. So this is the most important part of your fat loss phase. You've got calories that have come down. You've got cardio and steps up here. You probably had a dip in strength and training performance because you've got yourself lean. It's very, very easy to gain fat in this period. We all have done it. We've all been there, where you go on a diet for 8, 12 weeks, you do really well. 3 to 4 weeks, you go on holiday, you come below it all. So you've taken yourself from this low number of calories, we're at our deficit at the lowest point possible. The first thing you do, when your goal is to stay lean after getting there, is take your calories up to maintenance. So if your maintenance calories are 2,500 and you're dieting down at 1,800, you shoot back up to 2,500, okay? Now we have to just stay here for a couple of weeks. Maybe, honestly, it should be like a month in my opinion. What will happen is you'll bring your calories from, let's say, 1,800 to 2,500, wherever you are. It's important you keep your training the same, you keep your cardio the same, and you keep your steps the same. You do not decrease your output, guys, your steps, cardio, training. You keep them the same because you had an increase in food. Obviously, going from a low carbohydrate diet to a fairly high carbohydrate diet, or those 500, 600, 700 calories you've added in are mostly going to come from carbs, you're going to retain more water because glycogen will be coming in. Carbohydrates, 1 gram of carbs, 3 grams of water. If I add in 400 calories, okay, which is 100 grams of carbs, it will bring with it 400 grams of water, half a kilo like that. Oh my God, I've gained half a kilo in a day. No, you haven't. You've just filled back out from your previously flat state. Yeah, from like a malnourished state to like a normal state. This is normal. So you're obviously going to have a little increase in body weight. And then we're going to sit there for a little bit. We keep cardio in, we keep steps in, we keep training in. If anything, your training performance should increase from the extra carbohydrates, more energy. You should have a slight decrease in hunger. But this takes time. Yeah, you don't just go from 1,800 to 2,500 and you wake up the next day and you feel amazing. You're still going to be hungry, ready to go. So it's really, really important you've got some discipline and can keep your shit together during this time, okay? And by the way, if you want to learn all of this stuff, I go into so much detail in my course, which is below. There's the shameless plug. I had to do it. You'd do it if you and me as well. Let's get back into it, okay? Calories up to maintenance. Sit there for a few weeks. Weight will come up, plateau, and maybe come down a little bit, and then stay there. Once we are level, We think, right, I pulled off all this body fat, I've refueled myself, I'm eating up at maintenance, I don't feel as bad as I felt before. Now I can transition myself into a lean gaining phase, if that's what you want, or into a muscle building phase, if that's what you want. Either way, if your goal is to maintain condition, build muscle, or stay where you are, what I'm about to say still applies to all of those, okay? You don't just want to sit at that maintenance number forever. You want to slowly increase that number over time, because we know the more food that we can eat while staying lean, the more muscle we can have and the leaner we can get with ease next time. You're literally already setting yourself up for success next time. So that we've had 1,800 calories to, let's say, 2,500, right? If it's a different number, just, you know what I'm saying. From here, your cardio is still very, very high. After a few weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, if you're impatient, 2 weeks, but don't be impatient with this stuff. This is a marathon physique development, yeah? We then want to slightly decrease cardio, because we don't need to be doing excessive cardio 5-6 days a week, unless you like really live and breathe this stuff like me and you need to stay lean for like your job. Then I have to do my cardio all the time, whatever. Let's say you're doing 30 minutes 5 times a week. We're going to drop it to maybe 30 minutes 3 times a week. So we've reduced 60 minutes of cardio. I mean, your calories would stay the same. The goal here is to maintain weight. So if we finished the diet at 78 kilos, we now come up to 80 kilos, and we're stable there. We then reduce cardio, stay at 80 kilos, whilst keeping calories at maintenance like we spoke about. After a week or two here, when everything's stable, you're going to take that 2,500 up to maybe 2,600. Now, you can obviously, with calorie increments, like the increase increments, you can do 100 calories every few weeks. If you're a female, you're going to do 50 calories every few weeks. You can do 200 calories every few weeks. You can do 250 every few weeks. I would always lean on the conservative side, because it's very easy to store body fat, okay? So I would go from, let's say, 1,800 to 2,500. I'd go to 2,600. And then from here, you can see that the pattern. I'm going to then go to 2,600 for a couple of weeks, 2,700 for a couple of weeks. If I do this correctly and I keep my cardio, instead of 5 times a week at 30 minutes, eventually it's going to come down to maybe 3 times 20 minutes. I think everyone should be doing that. Bulk cut, old, young. 3 times 20 minutes should be the staple in anyone's routine, unless you're in a fat loss phase where you then increase it over time just to create the deficit. That's all cardio is. If done correctly, 2,500 becomes 2,600, stay 80 kilos, becomes 2,700, stay 80 kilos, becomes 2,800, stay 80 kilos. And obviously over time, as those calories are keeping up, you will be building some muscle as well. But the goal is to remain lean. Imagine the position you could be in if, let's say, after a 3-month dieting phase, you spent a proper 3 months, which is 6 months, and you're probably going to be training for 20, 30, 40 years. It's 6 fucking months. Just do it. Stop being lazy and impatient and do it. Don't ruin a 12-week fat loss phase by going straight into a bulk. You get fat quick, you look like shit, you then have to diet again. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about, yeah? Imagine you had some discipline for once. You did your 12 weeks in building calories up. 78 kilos when you finished your diet. You took calories up to maintenance, you went to 80 kilos. You then went from 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Imagine you then eating 3,000 calories. You'd only be 81, 82 kilos. It would literally all be muscle as well. So you'd have gone from a super flat, depleted 78 kilos who's over dieted to a nice and full 80, 82 kilo guy who's built some muscle, who's getting stronger and has the same body composition as 78 kilo guy at the end of his fat loss phase, because he slowly increases calories over time. This is the key to then build more muscle, to then diet again. What happens if that guy after 3 months wants to get shredded, wants to get lean again? He's maintaining his weight at 3,000 calories, only 4 kilos off his absolute leanest. He could drop to 2,500, bring calories back up, and he could go below 78 kilos. But instead of having to be 1,800 calories, he's doing it at 2,500 calories. What do you think is going to happen to his physique? More muscle and leaner, and it's easier. And after a while of like repeating this cycle, guys, you can get to a point like me, for example, where I eat around 3,000 calories a day and I maintain my weight. Pretty lean, like you can see in my arms. I don't hold much fat really. I actually had some alcohol yesterday, so I'm like dehydrated, so I don't think I'm as lean as that. And I can maintain my weight. And by doing cardio every day, it just allows me to eat that like 3,000, 3,200, around that range and stay lean. But it never used to be like this for me. I used to have to diet down on 2,000 calories as well. I used to bulk at 2,500 and get too fat. So it's taken me years and years and years. And like I said, I literally deep dive into all of this stuff in my course. which is super cheap. I've had, I think 20 people have bought it this month. I only just released it this month, which is pretty cool. It will be going up in price when I hit 25, but whatever. That's the way to do it, guys. If there's one thing you can take away from this video is you need to have patience and discipline at the end of your fat loss phase, because it's so important. I have witnessed friends. I'm a coach. Yeah? I'm not an influencer. I'm a coach first, and then I post YouTube videos every day because I love doing it. All of my friends are coaches. We're in this villa. There's coaches everywhere. I'm in Bali, just surrounded by coaches. Even like those guys, I've watched them blow it, do a 12, 16-week diet, get super lean for a photo shoot for content, and then within 6 weeks, they are fat as fuck, and they've put on 10 kilos in 6 weeks. Don't be that person. Nail your reverse diet, and you will nail your physique, okay? You have to bring calories up slowly after a deficit phase. Just like when you're coming down from a bulk into a deficit, you slowly decrease calories. You don't go from a 3,500 calorie bulk to 1,600 calories because you want to get lean. You go to 3,000, then 2,750, then increase cardio, then 2,500, then increase steps, then increase cardio, then 2,250, and you get shredded or ripped like that. Hope you found this video helpful. I'm getting loads of comments, loads of feedback. This channel's growing pretty quick. I think I had 2,500 subscribers this month, so I appreciate everyone showing me love. I'm going to keep filming these videos for you guys. If you want me to film anything for you, comment below. See you in the next one.